So, I'm real quick, I wanted to come on here because I wanted to do a reaction to my first ever performance in drag because, like I said in my last video, it is going to be my 10-year anniversary this Thursday. I have not watched this video since 5 years ago whenever I did my reaction to it the first time. That was back when I was living at my mom's house, and I remember what goes on in it, but I just figured it's 10 years, why not just kind of take one more look at it and remember where I started from. I'm not sure if I'm going to have any other commentary on it that I didn't already have before, but let's just watch it and then we'll talk about it after. Oh, that outfit. I'm already bored. Oh my god, that wig is so horrible. I'm sweating. Okay, pause. I feel like I still to this day, I can't believe that I was able to walk around with my stomach hanging out and not have to suck it in or anything at one point. I mean, I was like 21 years old, but still, like, now I'm like wearing 5 pairs of tights and 2 cinchers just to get my stomach flat. So just to see my belly button hanging out, I'm like, ugh. I don't know why I didn't just take advantage of that back when I was skinny. Pause again. Again, if you watch this on mute, you wouldn't have, at least for me, I don't think you would be able to tell that I'm performing to like these high energy songs because I'm just walking around back and forth not doing anything. Oof. Still do that. I thought I was voguing the house down. Okay. I mean, I always hate watching myself on camera, but it's a very humbling experience to watch. It's funny because some things that I did 10 years ago, I still do to this day on a bad night. Like if I'm not feeling it, sometimes I honestly phone it in sometimes and I just do these kind of things. I don't touch my hair as often though. I don't know why, but I feel like a lot of drag queens do that when they first start out because they're not used to having this hair down here. That it's like a crutch. They have to hold on to it. I don't know, just drag queen logic, I guess. It's funny because at my show, it's our 9-year anniversary. So we're all doing our first ever performance, like redoing it. Ideally, I would like to revamp it and redo it in a good way and like redo the look, but the look was such a weird thing that I don't really have anything now that like kind of goes with it, that I'm like, maybe I should just lean into it and be funny with it because it was so random. Like the outfit was completely thrifted or just repurposed from what I already had at my house. The wig was just bought hair from like a beauty shop that I thought that it'd be cheaper to buy a quick weave, like a set of a quick weave, than to buy a whole wig by itself. I mean, to be fair, I don't think wigs were as accessible to me at the point. I mean, I didn't have like a bank account because I didn't have a job, so I wasn't like on Amazon and stuff like that or buying things online like I am now. But it's gonna be a challenge for me to reboot this in a better way, so we'll see. If I like what happens with it on Thursday, I'll probably include some footage of me at least me getting ready for sure. I'll record myself getting ready and we'll see where I go from there. Yeah, 10 years is a long time. As a performer, I feel like the more you do it, the more you learn, and you're on either spectrum of like you either do too much at first, like if you're one of those queens that do all the stunts, all the splits, all the dips, everything all at once with no dynamic flow, or you're like me and you don't do nothing, which is funny because I was a dancer before I was a drag queen. I was trained to dance a certain way and to follow choreography and stuff, so when it came to me being freestyling, I'm like, that's not my thing. And for some reason I just was like, I'm not gonna be a dancer in drag. And I think recently I have just kind of stopped caring about that, because the main thing about that for me, and the excuse I use, is that I don't want to have my hair fall off. I don't want to trip. I don't want to fall. I want to break a shoe. I don't want to do all these things, because all my friends that do that end up doing one of those things. And I've had wigs fall off. I've had things. I've fallen before. But it's like, at least I feel like I can justify that because they're doing something. It's worse if you fall, trip, or have your wig fall off and you're not doing anything. But if you're performing and you're being entertaining and you happen to lose a prop or a part of your outfit, it's kind of like you just go with the flow, you know? So lately I've just been caring a lot less about that, even though most of my performances are more conceptual and more visual than they are like high energy dance numbers. Just now recently, like in the last like year or so, I've been trying to get more into like just having fun and just dancing and stuff like that, not overthinking it. And that's also the thing that would keep me from dancing, is that I overthink stuff and I would not know what to do. So like, even though I'd rehearse things at home, think like, I want to do this move when I hear this, I want to do this when I do that, and then I go on stage and I blank. I'm lucky enough to remember the words sometimes now. Like if I feel like I want to dance or something, I'll do a song that I know like through and through, that I've known since I was like 10 years old, because there's no way I won't remember there's no way I will forget the words, because it'll just be muscle memory from me performing it since I was like 7 years old. So that's when the whole like extra stuff comes in. So if you're a new performer, newer than me anyway, and you struggle with this, or you struggle with finding your way of what you want to do you want to be a dancing queen? Do you want to be a park and bark? Do you want to do these things? You can do all of them. You don't have to assign yourself at birth. There's no districts you get sorted into. There's no sorting wig you have to put on to figure out if you're going to be a park and bark, a dancing diva of Texas, or whatever. It's kind of just whatever you want to do. I think that people get caught up with the idea of being a genre or being a certain signature type of drag, and that's always been a struggle for me, figuring out what my signature drag is, because my drag has been such all over the place. I do have definite like interests, and I have things that I like the most. Like I definitely skew more towards the dark and sultry, kind of gothy, like alternative stuff, but I also like more like futuristic, minimalistic, cyberpunky kind of thing. It depends on my mood, to be honest with you. But then I also like things like, I like Broadway stuff. I like Liza Minnelli, I like Judy Garland, you know, I like Tina Turner. So that all these different things that I have for reference, they don't really mash up into one certain thing. So if that's something you want to do, if you want to be more of like a dancing performer, I recommend that you do a song that you're just super familiar with. Like do one of like your childhood favorites or one of your high school favorite songs that you just know back and front, perform that, and then that way you can focus on performing and not to worry about remembering the words. Because I know people always say like, oh, you should know your words, but I will say, even 10 years into it, there are times where, especially if you make your own mixes and stuff, you will think you know the song because you just listen to it on a week, like for every day for a week, and you're like, oh, I know the song. You kind of zone out, like you do your makeup, or like I'll listen to music when I'm doing, like when I'm cooking or when I'm, you know, whatever, and I'll think I'll know it. Even when I'm driving to work, I'll have it playing and I'm like, yeah, I know the song. And then as soon as you walk on stage, you're like, I don't know what the first verse of this whole song is. It's weird. It's a really weird thing. So it happens, you know. It's not like, I know that's like the number one rule about performing. It's like, know your words, but I'm like, the way I would phrase that is be comfortable with the song you're choosing. You know, there's a lot of times where I'll choose a song I like, because I'm so indecisive about songs I choose, that I'm like, I'll hear a song one day or 2 days before the show, and I'll really like it. It's like really my vibe. I'll be like, I'm gonna do that song. I'll learn it by that time. And there's been a handful of times where I'll think I'll learn a song, and I'm like, I really didn't. But sometimes if the song's new enough or obscure enough, the audience won't know the words either, so they won't be able to clock you as long as you just play it off. Once you perform a number you think you know the words to, and then you find out you don't, anytime after that, you're like, I definitely know the words to this now. When I used to perform Iggy Azalea a lot, back in like 2013 or 14, I would perform her a few times and be like, I kind of know the words to all these verses. But then after performing it the first time, and then I would be like, ooh, I don't know the words. Anytime after that, I've been like, I for sure know them now, because I've gone through that kind of panic of like, what are the words? That happens to me a lot now when I do like Doja Cat and stuff, because some of the verses are so quick. Then I'm just like, if I'm like in the car, I'll like sing along with it and see if I can keep up with it and enunciate the words too, because that's like the best way to learn words, is to know that if you can actually sing them out loud, because sometimes you think you know them, but it's more of just you just going like the vowels will be the same. And for me, reflecting on 10 years, I've definitely evolved and gone through different eras, and I always want to be evolving because I don't want to stay the same person that I am at one point for more than a couple months or something. We all start somewhere, apparently, and hopefully I would like to think that I've improved. If you're watching this and you're just starting, or even if you've been around for a long time, and thoughts about like, am I improving? Am I doing okay? Like, am I good at what I do? Am I even a decent performer? Like, you have to remember at the end of the day, if someone comes up to you after the show, or if someone watching you, if they're smiling, if you bring them joy, if you're letting them forget the troubles of the world for like 3 minutes and 30 seconds, then you're doing your job. For me, I was always like, I want to tell a story. I want to say something. I want to have a message, and my drag should mean something. I have that sometimes. It depends on how passionate I am about something. But now I'm supposed to be like, what's the stupidest idea I can think of and perform it? I am still kind of a stickler for like originality if I can. You know, there is no original idea under the sun, but people say that. But if you're in the drag scene, you know that like someone can do a signature number that they made up themselves and like a very specific mix with specific sound effects and things like that they did, and that's like their signature thing. And you can tell when someone copies it somewhere else. There is limits to that whole like there's no original thing under the sun. There are some original performers out there, and I try to be one of them. I hope you enjoyed coming down this memory lane trip with me. I'm gonna have new stuff coming out again soon, very soon. I wanted to get this done now because I had to look at it when I'm editing my stuff for this week, so I didn't want to like watch it and then have like a fake reaction to it the next time. But I'll see you guys in the next video, hopefully soon. Be safe, bye.
Okay. This is okay. This is lightweight makeup. Coverage